there are two means of refuge from the misery of life: music and cats. If you love something so much, let it go. If it comes back, it was meant to be. If it doesn't, it never was. Until he extends the circle of his compassion to all living things, man will not himself find peace. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Think occasionally of the suffering of which you spare yourself the sight. Eventually, all things fall into place. Until then, laugh at the confusion, live for the moments, and know everything happens for a reason. In everyone's life, at some time, our inner fire goes out. It is then burst into flame by an encounter with another human being. We should all be thankful for those people who rekindle the inner spirit. Example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know. The only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. Happiness is nothing more than good health and a bad memory. We are all so much together, but we are all dying of loneliness. The only thing of importance, when we depart, will be the traces of love we have left behind. In the hopes of reaching the moon, men fail to see the flowers that blossom at their feet. A man does not have to be an angel to be a saint. Man is a clever animal who behaves like an imbecile. He who does not reflect his life back to God in gratitude does not know himself. Just as the wave cannot exist for itself, but is ever a part of the heaving surface of the ocean, so must I never live my life for itself, but always in the experience which is going on around me. The tragedy in a man's life is what dies inside of him while he lives. The greatest discovery of any generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering the attitudes of their minds. Do something wonderful, people may imitate it. Constant kindness can accomplish much. As the sun makes ice melt, kindness causes misunderstanding, mistrust, and hostility to evaporate. Seek always to do some good, somewhere. Even if it's a little thing, so something for those that need help, something for which you get no pay, but the privilege of doing it. The question whether I am a pessimist or an optimist. I answer that my knowledge is pessimistic, but my willing and hope are optimistic. The purpose of human life is to serve, and to show compassion and the will to help others. Man can no longer live for himself alone. We must realize that all life is valuable, and that we are united to all life. From this knowledge comes our spiritual relationship with the universe. True philosophy must start from the most immediate and comprehensive fact of consciousness. I am life that wants to live in the midst of life that wants to live. Wherever you turn, you can find someone who needs you. Even if it is a little thing, do something for which there is no pay, but the privilege of doing it. Remember, you don't live in a world all of your own. The doctor of the future will be oneself. Anyone who proposes to do good must not expect people to roll stones out of his way, but must accept his lot calmly, if they even roll a few more upon it. No ray of sunshine is ever lost, but the green that it awakens takes time to sprout, and it is not always given the sower to see the harvest. By respect for life, we become religious in a way that is elementary, profound, and alive. Impart as much as you can of your spiritual being to those who are on the road with you, and accept as something precious what comes back to you from them. Soldiers' graves are the greatest preachers of peace. The tragedy of life is what dies inside a man while he lives. There are only 3 ways to teach a child. The first is by example, the second is by example, the third is by example. The interior joy we feel when we have done a good deed is the nourishment the soul requires. Everyone must work to live, but the purpose of life is to serve, and to show compassion and the will to help others. Only then have we ourselves become true human beings. As we acquire knowledge, things do not become more comprehensible, but more mysterious. Man has lost the capacity to foresee and to forestall. He will end up destroying the earth. The full measure of a man is not to be found in the man himself, but in the colors and textures that come alive in others because of him. Man must cease attributing his problems to his environment and learn again to exercise his will. His personal responsibility in the realm of faith and morals. As soon as man does not take his existence for granted, but beholds it as something unfathomably mysterious, thought begins. It's not enough merely to exist. Every man has to seek in his own way, to make his own self more noble, and to realize his own true worth. Whoever is spared personal pain must feel himself called to help in diminishing the pain of others. We must all carry our share of the misery which lies upon the world. Compassion, in which all ethics must take root, can only attain its full breadth and depth if it embraces all living creatures and does not limit itself to mankind. Whatever you have received more than others in health, in talents, in ability, in success, in a pleasant childhood, in harmonious conditions of home life, all this you must not take to yourself as a matter of course. You must pay a price for it. You must render in return an unusually great sacrifice of your life for other life. One who gains strength by overcoming obstacles possesses the only strength which can overcome adversity. Life becomes harder for us when we live for others, but it also becomes richer and happier